What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host and captain, Garrett Morlang, and here in the studio with me is...
I'm Veronica Weatherstone.
Nice to meet you, Veronica.
Yeah.
What brings you into our studio today?
I didn't have anything else going on.
Oh, cool. Do you like, nerdy stuff, movies, video games, that type of thing? Or
It's me. It's JJ, dude.
Oh, okay.
No, I just introduced myself as Veronica.
Okay. Cool.
It's weird. It's like you didn't know who I was or something.
So here's the deal.
Okay.
I never know whether it's a character or whether it's you. Like that's you. There's no way to know. There's literally no way to know.
I have no idea how to play
until you say something like that. I don't know whether it's you or someone else. So
okay, well I'm not schizophrenic. You guys are watching the Super Gamer Boys, and I am JJ Purdom, his illustrious co-host. And I only say illustrious because I'm trying to get that word spread out about me around town.
Don't you love how, I don't know if I've ever really introduced you as a co-host. I always say, and here joining me in the studio is JJ Purdom.
Yeah, I always take it as kind of a little bit of a slight.
A little bit of a
but I mean, it's kind of a passive-aggressive thing on your part. But I don't take any offense to it or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
How you do this week, man?
Doing all right. Had a lot of doctor's appointments. Yeah.
It finally stopped working. What he's talking about
Not
is
so
his
much.
vision. He had some eye problems, and he recently went to an eye doctor.
Yes, I've gone to a couple eye doctors, and I tell you what, I hate the doctors a lot. I am not enjoying it, and even with insurance, it's real expensive. Not enjoying that aspect either. Want to hear a crazy story? Oh, I got a crazy story for you. This might get a little gross, but I think it's really awesome.
I'm so excited.
Okay.
Anytime you say something is gross.
Okay. So the story isn't necessarily awesome, but this thing that happened to me was crazy. It was more crazy. This is crazy. You ready for this?
Is it about something that showed up in the bathroom?
How do you know?
Okay, go ahead.
So here's the deal. I showed up today. They inject a bunch of dye in my bloodstream. They're scanning my eye. I don't know what for. I just let the doctors do what they want. This is a true story. She handed me a consent form 10 minutes after they dilated my eyes.
So it's already been...
You can't see anything. After they dilate your eyes, I can see long distance, 15, 20 feet away. I can see crystal clear, but anything closer than that, no idea. Couldn't see any. Couldn't see in their faces. They were I was stumbling around the hallway, following them. They're just follow me. They treat you as if they didn't just dilate your eyes. They were.
Are you running? See, I would be running around goosing people and just making.
Oh,
sorry, I can't see anything.
But they literally handed me this consent form, and they're like, "Oh, can you go ahead and sign that?" And I'm like, "What am I signing?" And they're like, "Oh, it's this blah 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 blah." They kind of rambled on a little bit. I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll take your word for it because I can't read it." They're like, "Oh yeah, good point." And I'm like, "Yeah, you just told me what it says. I could be signing my life away." I said that to him too. I was just like, "So how do I know this isn't the deed to my house or the title to my car or who knows, signing my first child away to you?" And they're like,
right.
"You just gotta trust us." I'm like, "I don't like these odds. I don't like these odds one bit." So I was like, "Well, where do I sign? Because I can't see." And finally, I sign it and scribble my name on there. I can't see anything. But anyways, after all that craziness happened, so they're injecting this dye in me, stick this camera in my eye, scan in the back of my eyeball, however that works. Science is crazy. And they're like, after they were done, they're like, "Oh, by the way, did you have someone here with you to drive you home?" And I'm like, "No, I was told I was just going to have my eyes dilated, and usually within an hour or so, I have enough vision to be able to at least drive, and then it gets better throughout the day, as long as I wear sunglasses, because it makes you super light sensitive." And they're like, "Oh, no. With this dye we injected in your blood, it also will apparently cause your eyes to tint red. Everything will be red tinted." I'm just like...
So you're seeing the Incredible Hulk. So you're basically just seeing red.
So think of some plastic cellophane, what people tape over their brake lights after they smash the plastic. That's if I held that up to my vision,
is that a personal attack on me right now?
Not only if you took it that way.
No, I'm kind of feeling that's a personal jab. That was a very passive aggressive way to kind of poke at your best friend in the whole world.
Okay. But yeah, that's what it was like looking through, like as if I was like looking through some clear plastic, like red cellophane plastic sheet or something like that. Everything was red. I'm like, okay, so this is going to last a while. They're like, yeah, and you really shouldn't drive because, you know, the whole thing where you can't see the traffic lights and tell what color they are. I'm like, yeah, good call. And they're like, oh, and also drink a lot of water today and don't be alarmed after you go to the bathroom. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, you know, the dye will show up in your urine. It'll be a little weird at first, but you'll be fine. It's fine. Don't panic. Just drink lots of water and it'll get out of your body quicker. I'm like, okay, cool. I didn't know what to expect. Immediately after I was done with the test, I ran to the bathroom because I had to see what was going to happen.
Was it immediate?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like within like 15 minutes.
No way.
Yeah, like the test was about 10 minutes. They sat me in a room for 5 minutes to make sure I wasn't going to die. And then...
Did you?
I did not die.
Okay.
I'm
That's
here to tell
positive.
you all I did not die.
Yeah, good.
And I immediately ran to the bathroom, you know, let her rip, and boy, was I surprised. It looked like that highlighter there.
Yeah.
It literally looked like someone snapped open a highlighter and dumped it in the toilet.
Wow.
Like, no joke. Like, it was literally glowing. Like, I could have turned off the lights in the bathroom, and it would have been like, it looked radioactive. I'm like,
wow.
Oh man,
this
is such a cool trick. I took a picture of it.
So, I got to look at the picture. Yeah. I got to see the picture after.
I'll show you that.
We won't
afterwards.
show that online, but
then I got home as well, like later this afternoon, like hours later. I tell my wife, I'm like, this is so crazy. Like, I was so proud of my neon pee. I got home, getting ready to jump in the shower. I'm like, went to the bathroom before I jumped in the shower. And sure enough, it was still like the dye was still in my system because I was just like, Trudy, you gotta check this out. You can see it. It's still in my body. It was a crazy thing.
Did you get her to come into the bathroom?
No, she would not look. She didn't even want to hear about it. She was not so as excited as I was about my radioactive urine.
Trudy Morlang, we are desperately ashamed of this moment. You should have ran in there and looked.
We're not ashamed.
No, we're going to talk about the deep, deep shame as soon as we end the podcast.
Okay, well.
You should have just walked in there and looked at it because now Garrett.
I mean, I have pictures. It's fine. I could just show her later.
Okay, we'll show those. We'll post those on the Facebook.
No, definitely not.
Or on the Twitter, I mean on the Twitter.
So
or is it the Instagram?
That's
I got it right. Oh my gosh. Instagram.
There you go. You got it.
Yeah.
It's only taken you like a year.
And they say they can't teach new dogs old tricks. Old dog.
To be honest, I had to think
old
about
dogs,
that.
new tricks.
So that's how my week's been.
Awesome.
Lots of doctors and radioactive urine.
I'm so sorry to hear that, but I can't wait to see the photos in a little bit.
Yeah.
Is that weird that I'm going to look at his pee later? I'm not really sure if that's acceptable in this society.
Technically, it's not my pee. It's dye.
It's radioactive,
like
material, yeah. That's so great in every way. I've been in a couple of bathrooms, mostly porta potties that have radioactive material in them as well.
Well, I do not want to know any more of that story. Let's just leave it right there.
I can go into more detail if you...
No, that's all right.
Okay.
That's all right.
All right.
What do you say we give a shout out here to our Patreon producer, Matt Liu, and Patreon sponsors, Bill Bird and Julie Bates.
Man, what a crew. Those people are so amazing. Matt, thank you, Matt Liu. You notice how he rushed through it real fast? We had a lot of stuff to talk about, and he's hoping that I'm not going to comment, say inappropriate stuff, whatever. So that's why I'm just doing it anyway, because that's how I roll.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. So what I was going to share real quick is Bill. Bill is such an awesome individual. He got to do a little ride-along with me earlier on today, and I'm just so thankful for Bill because Bill came and helped me knock out a very large job, and he heard me tell a very, very funny lie on the phone, and he just looked at me out of the corner of his eye and didn't say anything. And that's a pro. That's a pro. He's not going to call you on something. Thank you, Bill. Thank you for that.
I like to call you on everything.
I know. That's
as evidenced by this entire show. It's basically just me calling you out on things.
Yeah.
And also thanks to all you who support us on Patreon, not just those that we shouted out, but the rest of you who who you are. And usually what I've been doing too is
we know who you are too.
All their names show up on the video too. You probably already saw them, but give a round of applause to those Patreon supporters.
I don't want to do it into the microphone. I'm really concerned about it being like
too loud. Yeah,
loud.
No, that's fine.
I'm used to blowing microphones out. That's why I say that.
If you too are interested in supporting us, getting shouted out on the show, and getting some other cool perks, and being a little more involved in the show, week to week, check it out over at patreon.com/supergamerboys. You too can support us over there, and that helps so much with buying equipment we need to keep making cooler and better stuff for you, as well as the ability to see movies, play games, and all that.
Speaking of buying equipment, you guys can help me and G Money get a $20,000 gaming desktop that we put together on our Amazon wish list.
Yeah, so randomly before we started recording, JD's like, how expensive could it cost? Like, if I wanted a gaming computer and
money wasn't an object.
Yeah, you just won the lottery. What's the most expensive thing we could buy? So we went over to originpc.com and we literally put together a $20,858 gaming PC.
And I was pretty shocked.
That's more expensive than my car. My car wasn't even that much.
He basically made it sound like we could talk with people on Mars with this computer, that it was so overblown. So what I was shocked by was immediately when he placed it into the wish list.
Not even the wish list. I put it in the car.
He emailed it directly to one of our sponsors. Of course, we're talking about Grammy, Julie Bates. And I just love that Garrett didn't hesitate to put it into the wish list and send it right over. And I mean, some people call it an inheritance. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay. No, that is not what happens.
If you can make the check out to Super Gamer Boys.
Don't do that, because we don't have a bank account, so no one would ever be able to cash that check. Unless one of us legally changed our name to Super Gamer Boys.
I have an account at Mechanics Bank.
Oh, so wait, you have an account for Super Gamer Boys that you haven't told me about?
Hey, is it almost time for the nudes?
Okay. Before we get into that, I just want to give a shout out to the HP Video Game Podcast Network that we're a part of. You guys are awesome. There's a lot of cool shows on there. Go check those out. You can do a search on Apple Podcast or over on Twitter and find some of the other shows on our network. One other thing I want to talk about was December 12th. It's a Thursday, I believe, from 5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific time. So that would be 8:30 p.m. to 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. Eastern time. I will be watching the Game Awards. Yes, that's right. It's that time of year again. The Game Awards are happening. Jeff Keighley's Game Awards. You can watch it anywhere on your own if you want. It'll be live streaming on a ton of websites, YouTube, Twitch, all over the place. But I told my wife, I was like, I really want to watch them. Is it cool if I watch them at home, or would you rather me just take off? Like what do you want? What would work best for you? I was trying to accommodate her, and she's like, just leave. It's way easier for you just to go. Because what happens is if I'm there, she's like, I want you to help with Shep, but I know you want to watch your thing, so you can't help with Shep. So you might as well just leave and I'll just figure it out. I'm like, okay, works for me. So I will be here. I'm going to try to be here, by 5:30, so that way I can, start streaming before it starts, and then I will for sure be here. JJ's going to try to show up at least at some point.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe I'll invite a couple other friends. We're just going to do live reaction. So it'll be, stream, the Game Awards happening, and then just us in the corner giving our little commentary and reactions to the cool trailers and awards that are given out. So that is December 12th, Thursday night, 5:30 to 9 p.m. Pacific time. Come join us. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yep, for sure. And I might even be there.
All right. I think it's time for the nerdy nudes.
It's time for the nerdy nudes.
Alrighty, first up on our news docket is, we're just going to hit this one real quick. This one kind of tickled me a little bit. So last week we gave a lot of crap to Google Stadia without having played it. So maybe it's, a little bit overzealous of us. But it sounds like that's not the case because it's only gotten worse and worse reviews over the past week. But one of the things we talked about is how some of the games were not streaming at 4K that, which is what they advertise. They advertise that every game's going to be 4K, 60 frames a second, as long as your internet's good enough, blah, blah, blah. Well, there was a YouTube channel called Digital Foundry. They are way into like the minutia and very small details of graphics and processing and power and how, like everything, all the little tiny, in technical, more technical, not tiny, but very detailed technical aspects of everything, games, whatever. They did a analysis of Red Dead Redemption 2 through Stadia. And I think we talked about this last week already. And they found out that it is actually technically running at 2560 by 1440, which is then upscaled to 4K, which is 496 by 2160 pixels. That's how many pixels per inch. That's not an inch. That's an inch.
So some people would say. There's been confusion on the subject.
Yeah, right. If only there's a way to like standardize like what an inch actually is. That would be handy.
It could never happen in this lifetime.
Anyways, yeah, so the whole gripe was like, not only is it not actually 4K, but then the graphics quality was horrible. Like they're saying like it basically looks like the PC equivalent of like medium graphic level, which most PC games you can choose like low, medium, high, ultra, and then sometimes they go higher. Like I think like Borderlands has like a insane or ultimate or something like that. Like depending on how powerful your PC is, you choose different graphics quality from amazing to crappy. So, obviously people were up in arms about this because the whole point of Stadia was like, it's going to be way better looking than any of your consoles without the console, and it's going to stream right to your house. And basically they came out with a statement. This comes from Ars Technica, Kyle Orland over there on the 25th, which is just today. Actually, a news story just came out today. Google came out with this statement. Stadia streams at 4K and 60 frames per second, and that includes all aspects of our graphics pipeline from game to screen. GPU, encoder, and Chromecast Ultra all outputting at 4K to 4K TVs with the appropriate internet connection, which, little note there, I guarantee you Digital Foundry has plenty of internet to run this at 4K. So that's one of the things they're trying to say, oh, maybe your internet's not good enough. Digital Foundry is known for like the best of the best reviews and technical kind of overview videos and stuff. They're not gonna, have crappy internet over there. I don't think, being a big YouTube channel. Developers making Stadia games work hard to deliver the best streaming experiences for every game. Like you see on all platforms, this includes a variety of techniques to achieve the best overall quality. We give developers the freedom of how to achieve the best image quality and frame rate on Stadia, and we are impressed with what they have been able to achieve for day one. We expect that many developers can, and in most cases will, continue to improve their games on Stadia. And because Stadia lives in our data centers, developers are able to innovate quickly while delivering even better experiences directly to you without the need for game patches or downloads. So here's the deal with that statement, because if that just sounded like jibber jabber and didn't make any sense, essentially Google Stadia is completely passing the buck, shifting the blame, and saying it's not us, it's the game developers.
They're basically throwing shade their direction and saying we've given every ability to be able to run at this level, and too bad not everybody can do that.
Which is insanity. I just want to put that right out there off the gate. Google is full of so much BS here.
Oh, huge.
Because here's the deal. Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC, if you buy it through Steam or Epic Game, wherever you get it, I'm not a PC gamer, so I don't know. Wherever you get it on your PC, people are able to play it at 4K, 60 frames a second on ultra graphical settings, and it looks beautiful. We watched a comparison video before we started recording tonight, where it was PS4 Pro next to Xbox One X next to PC, and it was beautiful. If it looks that good on PC through Steam, why doesn't it look that good on PC through Stadia? Like, Stadia is supposed to be the most powerful streaming console, essentially. And then it's not only is it not 4K, but it's like crappy, medium graphics quality. On top of that, Destiny 2 also is not running at 4K. Or I think Destiny 2 is running at 4K, but it's on like a lower graphical quality. So it's only like a medium graphical quality. So they have side by side with like PS4 Pro with Stadia, and the PS4 Pro looks better, and it shouldn't. Yeah. Stadia should look a million times better than the PS4 Pro. It does not. And what's crazy though is, you can play the PC versions of these games and they look incredible. All Stadia is doing is playing the PC versions of these games. Why isn't it working? Like, I feel like, I don't know. And obviously I'm not a game developer, so maybe a little bit is on the developers, issues of the developers. But honestly, I think this is based off of what I understand and even how I read some of the statement. I think there's a lot more fault of Google's that they just don't want to put on themselves because they've had enough flack, with the flop of Stadia. So it's one of those things where like they're trying to get as much of the, blame off of them. But
I got to say, I really am concerned that these red blemishes on the whole Stadia thing is going to sour Google on continuing with it. And similar to other things that they have started up and then bailed on.
Yeah, a lot of things.
I got to tell you, whether I utilize the service or not, I hope that it survives. It's another option, another place to play video games, and I love the concept of it. Maybe it's a little premature, but I don't want to see it fail, so I can't wish any ill will on it or anything like that, man. I really do want it to survive and do well.
No, 100%. I want it to go places too. I want it to get, it would be amazing. If this actually could turn something, like what they promised and what we all want.
We were geeked out, excited about it when it was first introduced.
Yeah.
I remember I talked about it endlessly because the concept is amazing.
Yeah, like you don't have to have a $20,000 gaming PC. Right. You can just go to you could use in theory, you should be able to bring up like your Google Chrome, not Siri. Jeez, stupid phone. In theory, okay. You should be able to go to any Google Chrome browser on any computer. Could be like a 15-year-old computer. Could be a computer from like 1995.
And get it in great quality.
You can bring up a Google Chrome browser. If you can find a 15-year-old laptop that runs Google Chrome, you should be able to stream a game in 4K, no problem. But that's not what's happening here. So.
No, but see, that is a problem because they didn't deliver on what was promised.
Yeah,
that's basically the gist of the whole thing.
Yeah, which I mean, obviously, I'm sure over the next few months it'll get to there. Like, I don't doubt that they'll eventually get there.
Do you think they're going to come up to the level where they promised it would be?
I think they have to now, and I think they will, but. Yeah, the real question is, like you said, like how long do they stick with this?
Yeah. I'm just seeing such a large drop in where they said it was going to be and where it's at right now.
Where the only reason I think they might stick longer with this than, say Google Glass or Google, was it Google Plus or I don't know, whatever. They have had
Google Plus is the social media site that
Google
had.
Circles. Like they have all sorts of like weird technologies and websites and things that they just bail on real quick. The only reason I think they might stick with this a little longer is because I was reading an article, and we're not touching on it today, but I think I did read somewhere or hear somewhere that they are working with, like they're picking up developers and starting game studios to make their own exclusive Stadia games that you can only play on Google Stadia. So they are they're purchasing game studios, which is a pretty big investment. Like, just purchase a game studio or put together like a team of people who are going to work on a game and then just like bail on something like 2 years. Like that's a big deal. Because it can take 2 or 3 years to even make the game. So I feel like they have to at least be in the game for the next 3 years.
So they've already purchased studios as of right now?
I should have brought up a news article. Okay. I didn't.
Yeah, I'm just curious who exactly they have picked up and if any of those game studios that they did pick up are known for any games that we might potentially see sequels to, or what we might be able to come to expect.
Here we go. So this is an old article, but I mean, it still kind of proves my point. Google Stadia's first game dev studio opens in Montreal. This is from October 24th, so from a month ago. Sorry. So a Stadia studio in Montreal is a smart move. Canada is affordable, blah, blah, blah. As far as I can tell, there's no name to the studio, but they are, actually, they put it together a group of people, a group of developers who are working. So that there is a a Stadia in-house development studio that started in Montreal.
Okay.
So sorry, I didn't have a chance to read this on the fly here.
No, that makes sense. See, I thought they were buying developers.
No,
Instead,
no.
What they're doing is they're getting developers and then piecing together their own thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And it'll just work on Stadia exclusive stuff. That is happening. And I'm thinking, like, if they're willing to put the money into that, games take a long time to make, like I said. So obviously they have to stick with it at least until the first game comes out, right? I mean, people cancel games all the time. Like, developers cancel games all the time, but
Google's a publicly traded company. They've put way too much money into this to give up super quick. So when I suggest that they're going to give up, I don't mean that they're going to give up super fast and not give it the old college try. It's just that they have a tendency to fail at some point and then brush their hands of the situation. Yeah. I just don't want to see that happen with Stadia. I hope it's something that we can eventually take full advantage of, because I do like the idea of their controller. That thing is pretty awesome.
Well, I'm even excited because come 2020, it'll be free for everyone to use, and you can use any controller you want. You can use your PlayStation controller, Xbox controller, or get a Stadia controller. So I'm just waiting for that. I can't wait for that.
But once it's free to use, what could you actually? Yeah, I mean, would you have to just go and get a Steam account and then buy your games from Steam? I mean,
no, it's not connected to Steam. You buy all your games through Stadia. So what you do is you make a free account, and you can technically stream for free. You can't stream in 4K for free. If you want to stream in 4K, that's what they charge you for. It's like $10 a month to stream in 4K and get discounts on games. So that's the other thing. I saw after the launch last week, there were so many people who didn't understand what Stadia was, which, I mean, I felt like I understood it right off the bat, but there was a lot of people on Twitter I saw who were like, wait a second, why would I pay $10 a month for Google Stadia? Because what a lot of these people were thinking is that it was like a Game Pass scenario where there's like this whole library of games on there for $10 a month.
We thought that might have been the situation in the beginning. I remember that was one of the
very,
things
very beginning.
Hey, what does this look like?
But they came out pretty early on and kind of, put that to rest, I feel like.
Yeah, no, they were very clear.
But yes, a lot of people did not realize that, and they pre-ordered it and then got it and were like, what the heck is this? I have to buy games still? Like, it's $60 a game? Like, for a 10-year-old game? Like, Tomb Raider, the first Tomb Raider came out on PS3 and Xbox 360.
Wow.
And like, that's one of the Google Stadia launch games. Like, it's crazy. And to spend like, I honestly, I don't know how much. I know some of the other games are $60. I haven't been able to see a Stadia storefront because, we don't have Stadia, but I know some of the games are like $60 that are like older games. It's like, whew, that's crazy. Like, that they're charging like full price for these things. And, but yeah. So that's the deal with Stadia. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, I'm interested to try it next year when it's free. Maybe when something new comes out. If something new comes out on it. We'll see. Oh, the next news story here is another just quick one. This comes from Polygon. Nicole Carpenter over there. So despite controversy, Pokemon Sword and Shield broke a Nintendo sales record. Nintendo sold 6 million units worldwide during Pokemon Sword and Shield's launch weekend. Nintendo sold 6 million copies of Sword and Shield, the company announced Thursday morning. It's a number that's broken Nintendo sales records, meaning Sword and Shield are among the fastest-selling Nintendo Switch games of all time. In the U.S., more than 2 million copies were sold in just the first 2 days. So just in the U.S., just in the first 2 days, 2 million copies sold. That's insane. It's the highest grossing launch of any Pokemon game. Sword and Shield were released for Nintendo Switch on November 15th. After a tumultuous lead-up, game information started to leak in early November, first with the evolutions for starters, Grookey, Sobble, and Scorbunny. And then the full Pokédex. Ahead of Sword and Shield release, a hashtag started to trend in America. Hashtag Game Freak lied. Pokemon fans upset about what they saw in the leaks, which evolved into full-on gameplay videos, said they'd boycott the games. Fervor, I don't know. I think it's a typo. Yeah, it's supposed to say fervor. Fervor over a cold Pokédex continued to overwhelm the pre-release narrative of Sword and Shield. Despite the controversy, though, Sword and Shield made an impression with Pokemon fans as clips continue to go viral across the internet. The sales numbers tell a similar story. So basically, leading up to this game, people were pissed. People are like, what? It doesn't have the full Pokédex, which is like 800 or 900 Pokemon. So it's like condensed to like only like 4 or 5 of them or something, 400 or 500 of them. There's like complaints about weird graphical issues and glitches and lag and blah, 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 all this weird technical stuff and mechanics of the game. And then for it to come out and sell freaking 6 million units in the first weekend. It's just so funny to me.
No,
like this whole hashtag Game Freak lied, and like this, basically everyone was like, oh, we're going to boycott them. We're not going to play this game, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like one of the best-selling games on Switch, best-selling Pokemon games. Like, it's just so funny to me.
And you love
It's
that
so
game,
great.
right? You've been playing that.
I've been playing it, yeah. I've been playing it as much as I can. I bring it to work during my lunches. You know, I'll play through some Pokemon Sword, but I'm loving the heck out of it. Obviously, for me, it's such a leap from, and I already talked about this before on the show, but my last Pokemon game was Pokemon Ruby, which was, I forget what I said before, like 15 years ago, maybe more. It was a long time ago. I was like in middle school or something.
You were like 6 years old, dude.
It was later than that. It would have been like 2001 or 2002 maybe. So it would have been like 9 or 10. But yeah, that was the last one. I know you were like graduated from high school. You were like married with 6 kids by then.
Yeah, something like that.
But
It's just weird because we work together every day. So I'm like, I don't think of you as so much younger than me. And then you say that, it always goes, oh yeah, I'm old.
Yeah, like you would have changed my diapers if, you know.
Yes, I have nephews that are older than you, nieces older than you, so that's why I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah, but yeah, so I'm loving the heck out of the game because for me, it's like I haven't played in forever. So I'm loving every bit of it because I've missed it. I've wanted a Pokemon game, but basically once I went to DS, I came from a family that just like, I know you think we were made of money, but we weren't made of money. Like I didn't get a DS. I didn't get the 3DS. I didn't get all like, it was very specific with what consoles we did get. Like I saved up for a PS2 and then
he's got mob ties. Okay. He's from New York. Okay. When I first met him, he talked with like kind of like an over the top stereotypical voice. When I first met him, that's how he was talking all the time. Every time Garrett would walk into a room, he all the time would be like scoping it out, always put his back against the wall. He's a wise guy, this guy. What?
You think so?
Yeah, well, I just know that you dropped it soon after, and it was almost like you went into witness protection.
Yeah, the officer who was working with me is like, dude, you gotta calm it down a little bit.
Yeah,
people are gonna know it's you.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. He's always slapping people with the back of his hand. Hey, she deserved it. That's what he was always saying, all the time.
You're horrible. Okay. I don't even remember what I was talking about now.
You were talking about how you came from nothing but money.
Yeah.
The Rockefellers.
But yeah, I was never able to play the other Pokemon games because I never had a DS or 3DS. So that's
Grammy, how could you? The boy came from nothing. You guys just held him down.
That's not what I said. Either you on one side, I'm on the Rockefellers, and the next one, I'm like out eating dirt.
That's the way that I heard the story.
We lived in the middle there, okay? There is a middle, like,
There isn't any more, Garrett. There isn't any more.
There used to be. Back in the day, there used to be a middle. But yeah, so I love Pokemon Sword and Shield. I recommend if anyone has this Nintendo Switch, go get that game. And if you don't have a Nintendo Switch, go get a Switch and then buy that game. which is another crazy thing. It wasn't mentioned in that article. I was reading another article.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo Switch sales in, I think, America, but I think this article was even specifically talking about England. Like in the UK, Nintendo Switch sales of the console and of Pokemon Sword and Shield have gone crazy. Like they've sold so many new Switch consoles. And a lot of, like, I heard someone speculating. They're like, does that have something to do with the fact that Pokemon Sword and Shield take place like in the UK? Like it's like a country that's based off of the UK. Mm-hmm. And I was like, didn't think about that. It's interesting. Probably not, but a lot of people,
it's pretty funny.
But there's a lot of people around the world who are buying a Switch console just to be able to play Pokemon, which is crazy. Because a lot of people are like, no, like Pokemon isn't a system seller. Like, no one plays Pokemon. Like, you know, some people say stuff like that. But apparently 6 million people do. And a lot of those people are not only bought the game, but bought a new console just to play it. So it's pretty crazy.
That's pretty crazy.
It's amazing. Let's get on to the next story here. So there's some big, like, air quotes around this whole thing. I feel like, Resident Evil 3 remake planned for 2020. This is a rumor.
Why is it a rumor that just makes me really excited?
But the reason it's kind of news is because supposedly there's some like evidence that it is happening. Like it's a rumor, but it's like there's enough going on around it where people are like, okay, this seems pretty legit. I think this is worth talking about. Otherwise, I feel like it wouldn't. Well, I take that back. I was gonna say otherwise I wouldn't have that headline, but internet's all about those clickbait headlines. This is over at Kotaku, which is, you know, they're a great source. They have awesome articles, and they're very much one of the more reliable places. So when they say something, I pretty much take it as gospel for the most part. Resident Evil 3, this is by Jita Jackson over there. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis remake is in the works from Capcom, according to 2 new reports. It will reportedly release in 2020. Capcom released a remake of Resident Evil 2 this year, which was received warmly by fans of the franchise. It's actually been nominated for Game of the Year this year, which is pretty crazy. Given how difficult it is to play Resident Evil 3 at the moment, fans have hoped for a remake of that game as well. According to a YouTube channel called Spawnwave, a remake of that game is not only currently in development, but on track for a 2020 release. The major European games outlet Eurogamer confirmed as much with their own sources, reporting this morning that they have also heard of this project. Capcom has also been public about its desire to re-release more Resident Evil games. That was something they said actually after the second one came out. They're like, depending on how good the second one does, you know, we would really like to keep making more remakes.
The second one did really great.
Freaking killed. So, I never played the original, like the PS1 version of Resident Evil 3.
I did, and Resident Evil 3 Nemesis is fantastic.
Okay.
It in my memory was just as good as 2. Very good game, lots of fun. The Nemesis monster, very scary at the time. I'm sure it's probably laughable looking at it.
My only frame of reference to the Nemesis monster is actually from the Resident Evil movie. He was in that, like Resident Evil 2, I think it was that movie, which I love that movie series. A lot of people are like, it's so cheesy, it's so stupid. I thought those were so much fun. Like, I loved those Resident Evil movies. I thought they were so good.
Yeah, so 3 was really great, and it was very highly rated back in the day, and then they went ahead and made Code Veronica, and that's kind of like poop in the bed. That's like if you just woke up and you kind of had a stomach sickness right before you went to sleep. You probably should have went to the bathroom right before you went to sleep, but you didn't. So unfortunately, you cream in your your sweatpants that you've probably haven't washed in a while anyway. So now you really do have to wash them.
Jeez.
I'm just saying.
I don't like any of those words you just said.
That's what Resident Evil kind of did with Code Veronica.
Okay.
If they poop themselves.
Thanks for that commentary there.
You're welcome.
I actually, here's a picture here of the Nemesis. Yeah, it looks pretty horrible.
Oh, yeah.
I'm 100% on board. My only thing, and this was a question I heard on another podcast, but I kind of wanted to talk about it with you.
Oh, you mean you want to see my reaction to it?
Yeah, I just want to talk about it. Like, people can hear my thoughts. People can hear your thoughts on it. I thought it was a good question.
They can hear my thoughts, right? What am I thinking? Sorry. I don't know what I'm thinking either.
Nothing. If you guess nothing,
that was probably correct. No, literally, that's how it works.
But is it possible that this game's been in development for a while now, even before Resident Evil 2 came out, and they're only waiting until 2020, just like basically it's just giving them extra time to give it the extra TLC, buff out all the rough edges to make this like the perfect remake, basically? Or do you think this was a rush job where once Resident Evil 2, did as well as it did, they came out and just started developing it like a couple months later? Like, how do you think this is going to... So basically,
I would say
do you think they've been working on this for like 2 or 3 years and they were kind of working on it alongside Resident Evil 2?
No.
Or do you think it was like 2 months later, like, shoot, we got to start something. It's got to come out next year.
I think it was like, holy crap, we have to start something like next week. Did you see what's going on with the sales of Resident Evil 2 Remake? We got to get on this stat. And that's what happened. I mean, I could be wrong, but I highly doubt that they were taking the chance on 2, even though 2 was well loved, and doing 3 at the same time. I just don't think that was happening. I think 3 was reactionary because 2 killed it.
Yeah.
They sold so many games, man. It's an awesome game, a very, very great, scary game that Garrett never finished.
I did finish it twice,
no,
actually.
That's not the narrative.
2 different playthroughs. So.
Not the narrative of how we tell the story.
Okay. In fact, I think I remember you borrowed it and you never finished it. So, and then gave it back to me. So
we have more articles to talk about. You might want to get to that. It's only so much time on the show.
Right. But what I was going to say, I see what you're saying there, but I also feel like for a lot of people, Resident Evil 3, I think a lot of people have more fond memories of Resident Evil 3 than 2 from the PS1 era. A lot of people love 2, but I think a lot of people love 3 as well.
Yeah, but 3 was also, because I remembered, I was in high school at the time. 3 was before you were born, right?
Something what year?
Yeah. You were born in 93, right? Yeah. It was 95, I think, 94. Something like that.
It was 1999, actually.
The PS1. When the PS1 came out.
Oh, when the PS1 came out. I thought you were talking about when the Resident Evil 3 came out.
Resident Evil 3 came out in 99?
Yeah.
Oh,
the PS1 came out in 94.
I was already out of high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're going with that.
Oh, no.
You interrupted me for something.
Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Actually, I don't remember what I was saying. Man,
we're tired. We are doing the show really good. Late. It was a long, long day.
Yeah, we're recording way later than we normally do. What was I getting at? I forget what I already said already. But yeah, that's what I was saying. This game, I feel like a lot of people loved 3 more than 2. Obviously, like I didn't necessarily live it, but from what I've heard in my lifetime now and recently, and even with this news popping up, I've listened to a few podcasts just in the last couple of days. It sounds like a lot of people, are more fond of 3 generally. And I think I would not be surprised if they were working on both of these at the same time. They were working on 2 alongside of 3, only because they tie so closely together in their story as well. Like they literally take place kind of boom, boom, like at the same time, essentially. Like I think Nemesis 3 picks up like literally like maybe hours after 2, and they're getting ready to drop the nuke on Raccoon City, right? That's kind of the idea. After the whole outbreak happens. So I feel like it only made sense for them to remake both of them. Like it would seem strange to me if they remade 2 and didn't do 3. Like even when 2 came out, before this was even like an idea in the consumers' heads, people were like, oh, they're making 3, obviously, right? Like that's the next part of the story. It's almost like it's so closely is tied. So I wouldn't be surprised, from my opinion. Like I think what you said is valid. Like sure. I could totally see that, but I also feel like not only is the story so closely tied, but also it takes place in Raccoon City, which is where Resident Evil 2 took place. So a lot of the art assets were already made. Yeah. Like they literally just have to click and drag some buildings and some walls in there and just use a lot of the same art assets, basically just creating the new characters. There was so much Resident Evil love when I was in high school, from 1
Part 2 and 3. I think that 3, the love for Resident Evil was so high. That was probably the height of it right then. And when that came out, Resident Evil 3, it was taxing what the PS1 could do. It really was. It stands out. If you played it now, it'd probably be pretty clunky, but it was a really fun game. So I think that's why it's loved so much, is it was already taxing PS2 quality stuff on the PS1, right at the tail end of the PS1 dynasty.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm excited for it. We'll see if it actually comes out next year. Obviously, everything's just a rumor at this point. There's a lot to back it up. Like, there's a lot of sources who are saying, like, yeah, you got it. Like, I'm sure there's sources from within Capcom, but yeah, we'll see when it actually comes out. It seems interesting to launch a game like that right at the tail end of a console generation too, like, a few months before PS5 comes out. Unless they plan on coming out either on both, or maybe it's a PS5 launch game. That would be insane. Imagine PS5 awesome. Launches with this beautiful like Resident Evil 3. That'd be crazy. This next news story is just a real quick one. Again, Hideo Kojima is hinting at a return to horror. So as a lot of you guys already know, Kojima obviously just came out with Death Stranding. Amazing game. I've put over 20 hours into it. Can't get enough of it. I'm only like chapter 3 out of 14. Wow. And JJ earlier was just like, I don't think I could play that game. Like, that sounds horrible. And he was even watching a little bit. And I'm like, but here's the deal. Like, there's some people who beat the game in 30 hours, where I'm not even a third of the way through the game at 20 hours. Like, and that's only because I'm choosing to play that way. Like, I'm taking my sweet old time because I'm loving this world. So it's one of those things where I don't think everyone's going to like this game. In fact, I think a lot of people are going to hate this game. And I even told you, I was like, you can beat it quickly, but I still don't think you'd like. And yeah,
you told me originally you didn't think I was going to like it. I looked at it and I don't think I could ever play it. It looks too cumbersome. It's beautiful. It's amazing. But some of the aspects of the game that you felt were awesome, like, hey, I have to load my pack every time and how my thing is situated, all of that just seemed like that's a lot of wasted movement. I would not be interested in any of that. I get no joy out of that.
A lot of inventory management and stuff. But anyway, so that game came out. This is my little update. That way I don't have to talk about it on what you're playing. He just came out with Death Stranding, and he put out a tweet that says, I'm looking at an article here on GameSpot by James O'Connor. It says, on Twitter, Kojima has made reference to making the scariest horror game, and he's watching horror movies to prepare. The film in question, The Eye, is not an actual Thai film, as Kojima claims. It's actually the work of Hong Kong directors, the Pang brothers. Part of the film, however, is set in Thailand. So yeah, Kojima put out a tweet, let's see, on the 22nd, that says, as to make the scariest horror game, I'll watch the scary movies in order to awaken my horror soul. The Eye, as the Thai horror movie I rent, is the Thai horror movie I rent when making PT, but was too scary to finish watching. The package is scary, so I rented the disc only. Will I be able to finish watching? So he didn't even want to see the box for the movie, like it was so scary.
For the movie The Eye?
Yeah.
I've never seen it. I don't know. Is that scary?
I don't know. I've never. It sounds like it's from directors over in Hong Kong. I think it's like a foreign horror movie.
Yeah, apparently.
So I've never heard of it, seen it. But
apparently a lot of those countries have really great horror.
Yeah. So, I mean, after he tweeted about it, I'm like, I kind of want to watch this movie. If it was so scary, he couldn't even finish it. But so yeah, he says this is the movie he watched when he was making PT, which, we all found out was actually the beginnings of Silent Hills, which is crazy because that was when Kojima was still with Konami. It was going to be directed by Kojima and Guillermo del Toro, and it was going to star Norman Reedus. And then he got fired from Konami, or he left Konami. And I just love that Guillermo del Toro stayed with him and worked on Death Stranding, and then, Norman Reedus still ended up being the star of Death Stranding, like what it ended up turning into. But obviously Death Stranding is not a horror game, but I'm really excited. Like, I love a good scary game. We were just talking about Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2 is amazing this year. I just love spooky, scary,
it's the best,
terrifying things. And so Kojima, if he comes out with anything half as scary, is just so PT was a demo for Silent Hills that came out, and that's all they released. They released PT, and then it was like a couple months later he got, he left Konami, and then they actually took PT down off the store, so you can't even download it anymore. So people are still able to play it today, but what it is they had an old PlayStation 3 system because it came out on PS3. They had downloaded it, and then like as long as you never connect it to the internet or update it, you can still play it.
It's called PT?
PT, which stood for Playable Teaser. Because the idea is like they just shadow dropped what happened back in the day. They just shadow dropped this demo called PT out of nowhere. Didn't tell anyone about it. It just like showed up on the PlayStation Store. It said it was from Konami, and everyone's like, oh, that's weird. What is this? So people downloaded it, and they played this demo where it was like this strange like hallway in this mansion, and like these strange supernatural things were happening, and maybe you quick see like a shadow and stuff. And then I never was able to fully play it because, by the time I got around to it, well, I made the mistake. I downloaded it. I played it for a few minutes. Didn't think it was something I'd be interested in, deleted it. And it was literally like a week later that they took it off the store and you couldn't download it again. And then everyone was like freaking out, like, you got to play this demo. I'm like, I literally had it on my PlayStation and deleted it, and now you can't download it anymore. And everyone's like raving, like, you have to play this.
Oh, that's horrible.
So yeah, but you can go on YouTube now and watch full playthroughs of the demo. And basically what it was is you'd go through this thing, and it was supposed to be really scary, really, really tense, really terrifying. And at the very end, if you played it, you could actually add different endings to this demo. So depending on how you played it, if you played it, and you got like the good ending, you got an actual teaser trailer for Silent Hills. It revealed at the end that this was a teaser for Silent Hills. So you could have played the whole demo, got to the end, seen the credits for the demo, and then never even known it was a Silent Hills game if you didn't play it correctly, which is crazy.
Which Silent Hill game was it?
Silent Hills. It's a game that never came out. It got canceled.
Oh, okay, because I've never heard of it.
Because Konami got booted. He was
wow.
supposed to direct and write it. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's what PT is. So if he can funnel all that energy from what he had going with PT and all these crazy horror movies he's watching and puts that into an amazing, Kojima Productions game, I'm stoked out of my mind.
I was just thinking before you said Silent Hill, earlier this week, I was thinking about Silent Hill 1 and 2. I remember my brother playing them in high school, and I realized that they covered a lot of stuff up with a lot of the fog because they just didn't have the ability to make these great and it added so much fear.
Oh, terrifying.
It's just like the whole thing with the shark never being shown in Jaws. Yeah. It was the thought 100%. Of,
Because you just hear stuff. You don't see anything. It's like, whoa, it's so scary.
Oh, it's just incredibly scary at the time.
Yeah. So yeah, well, I'm looking forward to that. Now that Death Stranding's over, it's like, ooh, what's he gonna work on next? Like,
I'll look forward to that in 22 years.
Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be quite a few years, but that's fine. I'm fine with that. Alrighty, let's get into some new releases. Just a couple real quick ones here. Civilization 6 came out on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on November 22nd. And then Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts came out on PS4, Xbox One, and PC on November 22nd. So Civilization 6 is normally a PC game. So I think it must have came out on PC earlier, and then it just came out on console the other day, so that's kind of cool. Sniper Ghost Warrior, that's actually a franchise my dad likes a lot. I've never played any of them, but they're supposed to be really cool, kind of first-person shooter, like you play as a sniper. So I didn't even really know they were coming out with a new one. So that's pretty cool. I'll have to check that one out. Maybe ship it to my dad. Surprise him. We'll see. Alrighty.
Now he's going to sit there if he's listening to the show and he's like, all right, when's it coming?
Shouldn't have said that. Cool. Well... Normally, this is where we do what you've been playing, but we told everyone last week that we were going to talk about our Disney Plus kind of reactions to the service as a whole, as well as shows we've been watching on there. So let's.
You all know what we're playing.
So let's just say
he's playing a lot of Death Stranding,
and Pokemon,
and I'm playing a whole lot of Fallen Order, the Star Wars game.
Yeah,
it's been a lot of fun.
It's awesome. So instead of what you've been playing, what you've been watching.
All right, so
on Disney Plus specifically.
Right, and now that we've got the Disney Plus, loving it. Oh my gosh, biggest fans of Disney Plus in the house are my two youngest children. My oldest loves it too, but my two youngest, they live on it. Everything that you could possibly want is on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
they're watching all of the great old cartoons, all the old From the Vault stuff, which is awesome watching them get into stuff that they've never watched before. And as far as us, I have not checked out Mandalorian yet.
Oh, dude,
I know.
I
realize.
That's literally like I would buy Disney Plus just for the Mandalorian. That show is so amazing.
Yeah, I have not had an opportunity to do that yet, but I am going to be looking tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to be looking for Flight of the Navigator. I don't know if that's on there or not.
Please look it up right now for you.
Okay. I was hoping to get that and have the kids watch that movie.
Flight of the Navigator is on there.
Nice.
1986.
Nice. All
A
right.
boy mysteriously gains knowledge of the farthest reaches of the universe.
Have you never seen that movie?
Never seen it.
It's really fun movie.
Interesting. I'll add it to my watch list right now.
Yeah, very cool. He'll talk about it next week on the show.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
No, I am 100% like on board loving Disney Plus. Like
Nice.
I don't know. I'm not necessarily a super crazy Disney person. I mean, I like Marvel and I like Star Wars, which happen to be owned by Disney, but I don't like them because of Disney though. I like them because I like them. Especially like Star Wars wasn't always owned by Disney. So yeah, it's interesting. Like I got Disney Plus mainly for those two things, not realizing how much other stuff that I would really enjoy on there. So already, like obviously I have a 2-year-old son, so we've watched like Cars, we're watching Finding Nemo, we're watching like all these Disney movies that are so good that he loves. And then like I said before, like Mandalorian, if you're not watching Mandalorian, go watch The Mandalorian. I mean, for $6 a month, what is it? It's like, yeah, it's like $6 a month.
Yeah, $6.99.
$7 a month. Like, it's totally worth it for that show. That show is so stinking good. Like, the quality it's shot at is just incredible. Like, it's pretty much like you feel like you're watching a Star Wars movie at times. Like, they don't skimp with the technology for the show.
That was the question that everybody had was, is it going to be as good a quality as the movies have been?
Oh, 100%.
Or is it going to be dialed back for TV quality?
No, like literal, like digital visual quality wise, like as far as like the special effects they're doing and the cameras they're using and the lighting and all this stuff, props, like feels just like as amazing as any other Star Wars movie. And honestly, there's a lot of things that even make it feel so much like like the originals.
And how long does it run?
The usage of like puppets and props and like more live action stuff like that. An episode is about, what are they, like an hour long? Oh no, the shortest one's 32 minutes, the longest one's 39. So actually pretty short. There's 3 episodes out so far. They come out every Friday.
And then you can go back and watch the ones that have already been archived.
So it just stacks up. Yeah. So when it first came out, there's just chapter 1, and then every episode now it'll stack up.
So is Disney Plus going to do it this style of traditional television where they're gonna drop a new episode every week? Obviously, by doing it like The Mandalorian, is this the style versus Netflix's attempt at, hey, people like to binge, we're going to drop the entire season and then they have to wait for a year for new stuff?
No, I think they're going to stick with the releasing it week by week, because that's how all their stuff is doing it so far. So they have other shows, some other Disney originals. They have The Mandalorian.
There's the Jeff Goldblum show.
Yeah, so The World According to Jeff Goldblum, like they're releasing that weekly, which is another one I watched. Just my little short review of that. How
do you feel about that?
I only watched the first episode on Sneakers. Wasn't a fan of it. I thought I really liked Jeff Goldblum, And then I watch that show, and I'm looking here. It says it's only 30 minutes long. It felt like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, ooh, boy.
I watched the biggest portion of the sneaker part, and I couldn't watch the rest of it.
That was a little too much Goldblum for me.
Yeah. And he's a great character, but I didn't like this show so much.
And the topic, I'm like, I don't care about sneakers. But it was the only episode available because they release week by week. Mm-hmm. I'm seeing now they have 3 episodes out, and the newest one is tattoos. I'm actually kind of interested in tattoos. I like tattoos. I have a tattoo. I want to get more tattoos.
It's worth giving it another shot, I'm sure.
So I might skip episode 2 is ice cream. I might skip that one, but I think I might check out tattoos this week. And that one's only 27 minutes. But yeah, I think it's one of those where when they talk about something I'm interested in, I'll go and watch it. Mm-hmm. But it's not something I'm going to watch every week because he's a little too. He almost acts like extra Goldbloomy in this show. Like, it almost seems like he has like a kind of like cute, interesting, you got quirky personality, but like in this show, he's like, I'm gonna crank it up to 15. It's like, oh boy, it's
he knows
much.
What he's doing for sure. So, how do you feel about it being done weekly versus the dropping and binge watching? Yeah. Because we as a society, because of what Netflix has become over the last 2 or 3 years, we've become bingers. That's the way that we've now become conditioned to how a lot of us like to consume our content. We like a show. Crap, I want nothing but that show for a little while. I'm done with that show for a little bit. I'll come back to it. I'm going to go binge on something else now.
Yeah,
as opposed to all the jumping all over the place.
So yeah, with Disney Plus, I didn't finish my thought before. I think they are going to stick with that. Mm-hmm. And the reason I think that is because, so with like the binging thing is great and all, it's cool and all, but the problem that I think Netflix has is, they drop something like that, and not everyone has the ability to watch it all at once when it all comes out. Some people do, and a lot of people don't. And I think that almost ruins the hype and the conversation around a show, because it's like, oh wait, how much have you seen? Like, oh, okay, you're only at episode 2. Oh, I'm up at episode 8 already, so we can't talk about that. Okay, well, I guess we won't talk about it. Like, so I just feel like even like the whole like social media and the whole conversation around a show it almost stifles it, because not everyone is able to like binge 10 episodes of a show like I am.
You know? I never thought of it from that perspective.
When it's week by week, obviously there's still going to be a percentage of people who can't watch it week by week. Sometimes that happens, whether they don't have the service financially and they're waiting for the season to end and then pay for just 1 month and binge it. Or maybe it's something where like, oh, I actually work Friday, so I can't watch it till Sunday or Monday or something. So obviously it's still going to happen, but not as much. I feel like when it gives you a whole week to watch a show, like, yeah, that gives everyone a chance to like watch it. And then when people are talking about it, they're just talking about that one episode and they're like hyped as heck about it. Like, I'm sure I would bet so much money right now that if you're on social media, you have not already seen so much from The Mandalorian. Like, I'm sure someone's posted some picture. I'm not going to say here because I don't want to spoil it for people. But I guarantee you it's already been spoiled for all of you. I'm sure you've seen some GIF or some picture or some quote. I'm sure someone's quoted The Mandalorian or posted a picture, because there's like a extremely cute character that they introduced at the very end of episode 1 that people are falling in love with. And that's all people can talk about on the internet. Is every week, like, we get a little bit more of these 2 characters, The Mandalorian and this other one. And yeah, like, the conversation is huge around it, and it hypes the show up so much more than like when you can just binge like Stranger Things in 2 days, like what me and my wife did. Like 2 days, we were done, and it was amazing while we watched it, and then it was like, oh, okay, like, we're done. That's it. Like, it literally had Stranger Things had the lifespan of 2 days, and then it's dead to us until the next season comes out.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
Where The Mandalorian is like, I can't stop talking about it. It's been 3 weeks now, and I'm going to keep talking about it until the season ends, which who knows how many episodes. I think there's going to be like 8 or 9 episodes. So for at least like 2.5 months, like they have all media attention every week, every time a new episode comes out. So I think I guarantee you they will stick with it. That's my thought.
Yeah. Excellent point. Excellent point.
But yeah, we were going to talk about some shows that we were watching on there. Mandalorian is obviously awesome. Go watch it. The World According to Jeff Goldblum. Not a huge fan, but check it out for yourself. You know, it's different for everyone. It's technically a National Geographic show, but it's considered Disney Plus original. You can only watch on Disney Plus. Have you been watching anything else on there, or is that kind of...
No, we've watched a couple of the Star Wars movies, actually.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah, we've been, as a family, watching Star Wars, trying to like get through the whole, catalog. So then I can
catch
watch
up.
Mandalorian.
Right.
But do you think I could probably watch Mandalorian now without interfering or anything else?
So The Mandalorian, it takes place between episode 6 and episode 7. So it takes place after the Empire is destroyed, the whole thing with Luke and defeating Vader.
Spoiler.
Okay. It's like a 30-year-old movie.
It's more than 30.
Yeah, I'm sure. What was it 83 it came out? Yeah.
He just tried to do quick math in his head.
Yeah, I was like, oh, shoot. It's an old
Did
movie.
a lot of years.
Where was I going? Oh, yeah. So it takes place after that, but like quite a bit before episode 7, which is where like the new trilogy kind of picked up. So I think it's actually, it's definitely closer to like episode 6 based off of what kind of like the first episode shows, which this isn't really spoiler because it was in the trailer. They kind of show some stormtroopers, and it's really cool to see because you can see there's still remnants of the Empire. Like the Empire has been destroyed and ended, quote unquote ended, but there's still little like sects and little like, units of them spread across the galaxy now that maybe either haven't gotten the news or maybe they think that they can make a comeback or something. So it's in one of the trailers where, like the Mandalorian walks in this room, and it's really neat to see because there's like a bunch of stormtroopers in this room, and they're all like dirty and dingy, and you can tell like obviously they must live on like a desert planet because they're all kind of like a brown tint. It's not like the bright, beautiful, brilliant white. You can tell, they've been wearing this armor for like maybe a couple years now, and they can't clean it real well, and they're not able to get like new armor like they normally would when they go back to the armory. Like this is the same armor, and they've had it for a few years, and they look dingy and dirty and beat up, and there's a ragtag team of the Empire that's left over from when it fell. So it's kind of cool, like feel, where, the Empire's fallen and a new republic is trying to take its place, which, if you've seen episode 7, which like, obviously, kind of turns into, the First Order, New Order. Wow. I can't even remember. I don't even know what the name of the bad.
Dude, I don't know what the name is either.
I've watched that movie so many times. I should know. But yeah, so.
Darth Maul?
Man, I feel like I should have my Star Wars card taken
Darth
away from
Vader.
me. No, yeah, it's the First Order. I was right. Yeah, the First Order is like the new version of the Empire in episode 7, 8, and 9. So essentially, you can kind of see how things, I don't know. I think as the season goes on, we're going to start getting pieces and parts of how the First Order kind of came about. But the main story is obviously focusing on this one bounty hunter who is part of this, the Mandalorians, which we all love Boba Fett from, 4, 5, and 6. The prequels, there was Jango Fett, which was Boba Fett's dad. So up until now, that's all we've known of the Mandalorians is these 2 bounty hunters that have very little lines in the movie. They don't say anything, but everyone loved them. Like it was one of those things like as a kid, I had an action figure for Boba Fett. I think he says like 5 words in the entire like 2 movies he's in, but it's like he's the coolest. And so we get a closer look at this group of people, and we actually start to learn who they are. And you honestly start to learn like, oh, this is not just, it's not a species of people. It's not a race of people. It's not even an army. It's like an actual like religion and cult almost. The Mandalorian is like a moniker you take on, and it's representative in the armor they wear and the weapons they use. And it's very serious, like business. You don't take it lightly. Like it's very serious to become a part of this brotherhood of Mandalorians, which is kind of interesting. So, yeah.
I wonder if Super Gamer Boys can like put a resume in and maybe become Mandalorians. Because we're kind of like pretty awesome at podcasting, Do they have like a podcasting division in the Mandalorians?
No, they're all about war. That's one of my favorite lines from the second episode. Is like, someone asked him to put down his gun or give him their gun. He's like, "That's against my religion." This is like, that's so good. But yeah, go check out Disney Plus. We're loving it, obviously.
Yeah.
Those are our thoughts. Yeah, and like you said, they have all the classic stuff, which is so good. I was looking through there, and I was like, oh, what? Like, they have some awesome cartoons that I just loved as a kid, like Darkwing Duck, I think, was on there. They have Gargoyles. They have a lot of Spider-Man cartoons and X-Men cartoons and just so much fun stuff that I just loved as a kid. I'm excited to start watching through that myself, and then eventually introducing Shep to some of that stuff.
Well, I'm kind of excited about is I'm seeing that you have the thing on your phone, so it's actually a phone app now too.
Oh yeah, since day one.
I did not know that.
Yeah, since day one, it's on your phone, it's on your PlayStation, your Xbox, on your computer. You can go to Disney Plus on your website, on their website and watch. You can most TV apps, like if you have a smart TV, they have it. So day one. That was a cool thing about Disney Plus. Day one, it was available everywhere, phones, tablets, whatever the heck you want.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So you have no excuse to watch it.
Yeah.
And if you have another thing, if you have like Hulu Plus, if you're paying for Hulu right now, they have a deal where you can get Hulu Plus, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus, all three of those for like $12 a month. So it's like you can spend $6 on this, and I think it's like $10 for Hulu Plus. What's that? $16, or you spend $4 less, and not only do you get Disney Plus, Hulu Plus, but they throw in ESPN for you too.
There you go.
So it's like, go get that deal. It's pretty sweet. There's no sense in paying for both. Just get that combo deal. Alrighty. We actually have 2 questions of the show this week.
Nice.
So it just so happened, I know a lot of you are like, wait, why are you doing 2 questions of the show? Just last week you said how you have no questions, and now you're double dipping. Here's the deal. 2 people sent us questions about Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving happens in like, what, a day or 2?
Dude, it's Turkey Day mañana.
So we can't answer a Thanksgiving Day question next week. Like,
nope.
That's lame.
Gotta do it now.
You guys forced my hand. I got to do 2. So let's get into this first question here. With the holiday season upon us, what's your Thanksgiving plate like? Do you have a favorite part of the meal? This comes from Tom over on Instagram.
Yes. My plate has everything on it. I will put a little bit of everything. But since I started doing the ketogenic diet, I normally lately have been doing ribeye steaks and then Oh, yeah. Yep. And just...
That's not Thanksgiving. What the heck are you talking about?
Well, it is for me because it is amazing food, and that's what I have to do in order to stay away from all the gravy and the pies and everything else. But if I was to eat that stuff, there's a pie that my family makes. It is so amazing. It's been passed down through generations of my family. It's called buttermilk pie.
That's not pie.
Yeah, it's pie. Buttermilk pie. It is amazing. It doesn't taste anything like buttermilk, by the way. It's like a custardy pie, and it is the most amazing pie there is, and my family makes it really, really well.
But what does it taste like then?
Like a spongy...
That's not a taste.
It's hard.
I want a flavor.
Sugar. Like molassesy, sugary,
That sounds
almost
horrible.
like a pecan pie, but without the nuts.
Okay.
Yeah. That's probably the best way that I can describe it. Maybe I'll get you a piece.
I don't like that.
Maybe not. I don't like to share.
It doesn't sound good either.
Yeah, it's
you
amazing.
Keep your crappy buttermilk.
Buttermilk. And yeah, I'm Southern, so like it's really good.
You're not Southern.
Well, I am though. My whole family is.
Your family is. You've never left Newman. We all
No,
know.
I've never been out of California. Never once. But I don't need to.
You can't. I can't say, oh yeah, I'm I'm German.
I'm redneck. Yeah.
It's like, no, I've never been to Germany.
Well, put it to you like this. The people in my family, they talk like this, they like, super rednecks that live over in Arkansas, and, they gonna say things like, hey there, cousin JJ, how you doing? Like, literally. Oh, and then there's the ones that over in Texas, and they just a little more, like, refined, when they just kind of more kick back.
It's too hot to talk fast.
Yeah, they just, sit around on the porch and look at them old rats. They eating up that tree over there, boy. Go over and get you some. Don't let them eat all of it. So when I say I'm redneck, brother, I'm redneck. Yeah, but I'm from California. And it's funny, they always think that when they talk to me, like literally all of my cousins and family from over there, every one of them always believes like we surf all the time. They totally think like we're like right on the beach. I think we like surf like constantly. It's like, what?
I know, it's so funny. Like family members, all of mine from the East Coast, I'm originally from New York, and they all just assume like that we basically live in like San Diego or LA or something. I'm like, no.
Oh yeah, that's what they think.
Like
San Diego,
everyone
LA.
thinks California, and they
or
think
San
that.
Francisco.
Yeah, they think. Well, not even that. No, I get a lot of like. I even tell people I'm actually closer to San Francisco. They're like, what? Like I feel like people can't even picture what that is. Like they just immediately think L.A., San Diego, because that's what you see in all the movies.
Yeah.
But it's like no, yeah. Like our closest city is San Francisco, and even that, like we're like an hour and a half east of there. Like we live in the middle of a desert basically, compared to like where I came from in New York. Like everything's just brown and dead all the time. I'm like, I hate this place.
You say that,
It's
but
so
we're the
brown.
biggest portion of agriculture where all the food gets grown, right? But it's so brown.
Everything's brown. Even all the plants are brown. Everything's brown. I don't know how anything grows because everything's brown. There's no water. Like
Doesn't make any sense.
They've been in a drought for like 10 years. It's like things keep growing somehow.
Mm-hmm.
They ship our water in from like all over the country. It's crazy. Anyways, California is not like San Diego or LA.
No.
There's deserts, and then like an hour and a half to east of us, my favorite spot. I mix the word spot and part together. My favorite part of California is like north or like, even east of us in the mountains. I love that. Like Yosemite, going out there. It's so beautiful up in the mountains. Nice and green. There's actually some color up there.
I never make it there.
Yosemite's beautiful. We buy like the annual pass usually.
Some would say I'm probably doing my kids a disservice never taking them to places like that. But it costs money, man.
It's not cheap. My Thanksgiving plate is like a little bit of turkey, because you have to have turkey on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Otherwise, not Thanksgiving.
Of course.
So you have a little bit of turkey. I'm a dark meat kind of guy. I like the dark meat. Light meat, you can go rot in hell.
That was a little severe. Okay.
That's how seriously I take my turkey. Just that little bit. Like, I'm very serious about that.
Of course.
Very serious. Dark meat only. It has to be moist, and which is a favorite word of a lot of people. I know. But with just a touch of gravy on the turkey, mashed potatoes, a little splash of gravy on there. Gluten-free gravy, obviously.
Oh, obviously.
Gluten-free gravy. And then I am a stuffing boy.
Oh,
yes. A huge serving of stuffing. Obviously, from the last couple of years, my diet's changed, so it has to be gluten-free stuffing. There's some really good gluten-free stuffing out there, and that's literally like half my plate. And then the other little bit is, like I said, like a little turkey, a little mashed potatoes, and maybe like a little like sweet potato like casserole or something, which is basically just sweet potatoes with marshmallows on top.
Yeah.
Like just sugar.
Yeah.
It's basically a dessert that for some reason we call a side.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what my plate looks like. It used to be a big old roll, maybe two. Like my grandma always made croissants. I loved croissants, but can't eat those anymore because that's a whole lot of gluten. But
one of the things that I love the best is like 2 or 3 days after Thanksgiving when you have like leftover turkey and you're making like that white bread sandwich with like
with
boatload of mayo, and you put
everything.
like the mashed potatoes on there, and
that's what it was.
Make
it was
like an oaky sandwich with turkey.
White bread, crap ton of mayo, turkey.
That's to help the turkey slide down your throat. Yeah, meat's pretty dry.
Some stuffing on there, drizzle a little gravy.
There you go.
I put I like salt and pepper on there. A little extra salt and pepper in there.
Oh, man.
And then if I'm
feeling... It's like you're a fat guy in a skinny guy's body.
If I'm feeling real adventurous, maybe a slice of cheese in it.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Mind blown.
And then another slice of bread, slathered in mayo. Slap it on there.
Whoa, 2 breads?
2 breads.
Man, you just only live once. YOLO.
That's the dream. Leftovers. That's the best part of Thanksgiving, right? It's all the leftovers. Like you get to eat Thanksgiving for the next 2 weeks.
And that's why my wife and I are hosting Thanksgiving this year.
Nice.
Yes, it is.
And then you talked about your buttermilk pie there. I like a good apple pie. That was another thing. My grandma always made crap ton of pies, like way more than we ever needed. Like there's always a lot of people on Thanksgiving, but she made like 5 times more pies than we needed for everyone.
That's awesome.
Like you'd go out on the back porch and she'd leave the sliding glass door open, so it'd like get real cold. It's basically just a big walk-in freezer, like her little like back porch area. And there would be this folding tables like covered in pies and pies and pies stacked everywhere. It's crazy. She'd make like mincemeat pies and chocolate pies and banana cream pies and apple pies.
Have we talked about this woman before? Is she a sponsor? Can we get her to be a sponsor?
Yeah, it's a Grammy.
Oh my gosh, it's Grammy.
This is Grammy.
Oh my gosh, Grammy. So wait, you're telling me you've been hiding the pie fascination?
She makes the best pies you'll ever eat anywhere. I've never had a better pie.
Oh, Grammy, we got things to talk about. Oh my gosh, we have to get a Grammy pie.
We have to.
I'm thinking
shipped out on some dry ice.
I'll totally break the diet for you, Grammy. For you.
For you. But yeah, my favorite was the chocolate cream pie.
Chocolate cream, wow.
That's always my dad's favorite. And I don't know, like I like a good apple pie, like I said, but there's something about like good chocolate cream pie with whipped cream on top.
I always love pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie is really
good
great.
Too. Yeah, pumpkin pie is
good. Apple pie is fantastic. Coconut cream pie is actually
that's another one she always made. My mom loved the coconut cream, so she would make it.
Love that. It's absolutely my favorite, and nobody eats it but me. Yeah. So that's why it's my favorite, because nobody else will touch it.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, it's all me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love pies.
I'll decimate a pie.
That was always the best. Like after you've stuffed yourself
and you know
silly
you
without
you
your
shouldn't
Thanksgiving
eat anymore.
And then there's all these pie options. You're like,
yeah,
gotta try them all.
And
I have to.
that thought right there, that's what causes morbid obesity.
What do you say we get into our next question real quick here, so we can wrap it up.
It's also turkey related, right?
Yes. Hello, I hope you guys are doing well. What are you guys looking forward to Thanksgiving? And what are you guys thankful for? This is from Chloe.
Oh, Miss Chloe. What's happening, Chloe? I love Chloe. Chloe's been so awesome.
Chloe's great.
She interacts with us so much. She's always on the stuff. She's been a faithful listener, and she ends up watching the streams and stuff like that.
She's one of the few people who ever show up to like all. She's been there for all of our streams. Like when we did Resident Evil 2, I've done some Apex Legends streams. When you did the Death Stranding stream, like she's always there. So
I'm going to say it right now
awesome.
because Chloe is from the town that I'm from, and Chloe's been listening for a while, and she's such a good friend. Chloe, we'd love to have you come when we do a stream with several of our guests at some point in the future. We've been talking about maybe having some of the people who contribute to the show, some friends, some of the listeners to the show, maybe to come down and be able to play in a stream. We'd love for you to be one of those people that come and do that here in the studio with us at some point in the future. I think it'd be kind of fun to have one of our guests get on here and play some video games with us.
Yeah.
Or maybe just teach us about whatever it is they know about. I don't know. Something. They can entertain us. We'll just stare at them the whole time.
So yeah, what are you looking forward to this Thanksgiving, and what are some things you're thankful for?
I am looking forward to cleaning my house. Like
before everyone shows up.
Yes.
10 minutes before.
Yes. So
throw it on the closet.
when you have family and friends coming to visit you at your home, if any of you guys are homeowners or have your home, and if it's the first time you've ever hosted a get together like that, you're always like worried that people are going to come to your house and white glove everything. So you start doing deep cleaning. You're pulling stuff out the back cabinets, and you're like, nobody's ever going to go in the back rooms, storage under the house. You're like, what are you doing? But you're getting everything. I love the clean that the house is getting right now. So I say, oh man, I'll start hosting stuff every week. If we can just get the house clean. That's it. Love it. I'm looking forward to getting the house clean. And no, I know that sounds silly, but I actually am thankful for getting the house clean. And I love having people over at the house and just visiting and having a good time. Like to tell a lot of stories, obviously. I like to tell a lot of big stories. And there's nothing better to do that around food, As far as what I'm thankful for, I am thankful for a great job that I go to work each day, and I love what I do. My buddy Garrett can't really say the same because he does the same thing I do and he doesn't like it as much. But I love what
you lose some.
Yeah. I love what I do. I love what I do for a living. I love the fact that my kids are good kids and my wife is awesome. She puts up with a lot of stuff out of me. and I don't deserve the life that I have been given by my God. So I'm very thankful for a lot of things, and I'm thankful for you and all of the people that listen and watch our show. Dude, that sounded really nice, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, dude, I'm like pretty proud of myself right now.
Got awfully heartfelt there.
Oh man, I was like, oh, that was so poignant. That was so
Man.
poignant and beautiful. Whew. Like, wow, I'm like,
a little misty.
I'm pretty proud. I mean, I'm like really proud of myself right now.
I'm glad you had to. The little period at the end was you calling yourself out how awesome you were.
Wow, pretty great, you know?
Pretty great. You're thankful for yourself.
Well, there's lots to be thankful for.
Yeah, my favorite part about Thanksgiving, or what I'm looking forward to, we're actually going down to San Diego this year to be with my wife's family. I'm excited about that. I love hanging out with her family, and I mean, I love my family, but it's expensive to fly to New York. And
I'm trying to look on the monitor to see if you can see his hand, because he's over here under the table going. He's doing one of these about going to his in-laws for. I mean, come on, man! I met them; they're beautiful people.
Yeah, I know, they're amazing,
wonderful, amazing people. You're a jerk, dude.
No, I as much as I would love.
He
to
wasn't doing that.
Okay, you let me finish. I didn't interrupt you. I let you get all heartfelt and all intense, and you go and interrupt me. Now you ruin my flow. So here we go. It's such as life. JJ just ruining my flow. So yeah, I am looking forward to going to San Diego. Like I said, I would love to go see my family, but it's crazy expensive to fly to New York. Like way too expensive. And now that my son is 2 years old, we have to buy him a seat as well. So it's 3 tickets.
You couldn't put him in an overhead bin?
And the check-in or in a carry-on, just like maybe we could.
One old lady's sitting there like, oh my God, shh, don't say nothing. He'll be fine. Yeah, give her one of those. Why does that bring me so much joy, Garrett?
It's just you talk, you're dead, old lady.
Right.
But no, it's a lot of money. So I'm looking forward to not spending a crap ton of money on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And just driving down to San Diego and being with Trudy's awesome family. Get to see my brother-in-law, Toby, and his family, my nephews.
I wish you guys could see his hand right now.
Yeah. I'm just going to put my hands up here so you can keep...
okay, all right.
But no, yeah, it's going to be cool. Like I said, San Diego is an awesome city. They're an awesome family. It's going to be a blast.
That's awesome. So what do they make? What's like their family food that they make? It's like their Trudy's family specialty.
Honestly, like, I don't know. It's different going there because they lived overseas for a long time. Like my wife grew up living overseas for most of her life.
She was a pirate.
Yeah, she was born on the seas, and she lived on the seas for.
She was born with a wooden leg. She was.
Sorry. Jeez.
They called her Longhorn Trudy. They did. Go ahead.
My God, you ruin everything I do. I can't get to any of my conversations without you ruining my everything.
Some say make it better, but
Because of that, though, they didn't have like their typical like American traditions. Like Christmas didn't look the same, Thanksgiving, birthdays didn't even look the same. Like they have very just different ways of doing things because it's one of those things where you just got to do what you got to do what you can do when you're living in different countries around the world that have different cultures and different shops and stores, and you can't get the same things. You can't necessarily do the same things depending on the culture of the country you're in and all that stuff. And so, yeah, I'd like to go to any of their holidays or celebrations that they do. It's different, and especially different from what I had because I grew up in the States. So I had a very American upbringing with obviously there's just, there's things that every family does on holidays. And even if there's just like specific family traditions, those are family traditions that, my whole family did. It wasn't just me and my parents and my brother. It was, all my aunts and uncles were involved. My grandparents were involved. So it's like a whole family unit. So yeah, it's always an experience. So to be honest, I think I've only done one other Thanksgiving with them, and it's just different, I guess, is all I can say. What's it like, or what do I look forward to, or what's the kind of the one thing that they that's their thing. I don't really know if they have one. I think it's kind of interesting to be a part of it because now they are trying to make those things.
Yeah.
Now that I'm part of the family too, it's kind of like I've been part of their family the past 5 years, and it's interesting to like kind of almost be a part of them. Okay, relearning and kind of like figuring out, like obviously they had things that they love to do and they continue to do, but okay, how do we start, changing that and making it, now that they can do more and have,
and you can have part ownership of that, man.
Yeah.
Helping to author what that looks like, in the future. That's awesome.
So it's kind of cool being part of this family that's like, oh, you know what, like we don't have this tradition that we've done for however many years, like, it's part of our family for hundreds of years or something. It's like, oh no, this is like, we're just figuring things out. It's a lot of fun. What am I thankful for? Definitely my family. I mean, first and foremost, I've just raved about my in-laws, and my parents are awesome. Thankful for my wife and my son. I've had so much fun the last couple of weeks. Obviously, I love my son since he was born. The last couple of weeks,
he's pretty awesome.
He's just like grown such a crazy personality, and he's talking a lot now in like coherent sentences, almost like still broken, but it's like, oh, I totally understand what you're saying. And
he's already smarter than me. Like we've already had 2 conversations.
And he's like just 2 years old. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, I'm
kind of feeling like he's already a little smarter than me, I've already told him like no eye contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's been just really cool. Like I've just had a lot of neat kind of one-on-one experiences with him the last couple of weeks that have really meant a lot to me and really like bonded us in a really cool way. So I'm thankful for Shep. I'm really thankful for this podcast. I don't know if I've talked about this much on the podcast. I've talked about it one-on-one with different people, but
the rash.
Jeez, JJ, come on! I'm trying to get heartfelt here,
and
you're ruining
you want
again.
to keep that on the DLC.
That was not supposed to be talked about on the show. That was private.
So sorry. So sorry.
But before we started the podcast, I don't know. I've never had like a huge issue with like mental health, but I don't know. I'd struggle with like depression, like very, very minor depression here and there, or even just like, I don't know, not knowing like what the heck I'm supposed to do with my life or where I'm going, or like I'm a millennial. I don't know what the heck am I doing in my life? Like I'm just going to go wherever the wind takes me kind of thing and let's go with it and figure out what I want to do later. Since starting this podcast, though, it's given me so much and I mean, JJ alluded to it earlier, I don't really enjoy my job a ton, and my boss knows that. So if he's listening to this episode, it's not going to be, I don't want everyone to be like, oh, can he say that? No.
It's not a secret.
It's not a secret at all. I just, struggle a lot with the job I have. And so since starting this podcast, it has just helped give me like just peace in my life a little bit, because I can talk about and work on things and focus energy on things that I like really love and enjoy, and like that mean a lot to me. Like gaming had a lot to do with like my upbringing and my family culture, and like, it has a lot of cool emotional ties, like my relationship with my dad and different family and cousins and stuff like that. So since starting this, like even my wife has been like, you've like changed a lot in the last year. Like we were talking about our birthday was just a couple weeks ago for the podcast, and I've just grown so much in a lot of areas that I never would have matured or grown in, I feel like, since doing this podcast. So
you're telling me it's from hanging out with me once a week for...
Definitely not that. I can't.
Dude, I'm thinking that I'm having a positive influence on you, buddy, and that your personality may be getting shaped to be a little more like me. Oh my God, are you becoming more like me each day?
Definitely not. But no, this podcast has really meant so much, and I'm so thankful for all of you guys that listen and make this all possible, because without it, I feel like I'd just be in a completely different spot I don't know what that would be like, but I feel like it'd be a lot darker and a lot bleaker. Like it definitely is a huge light in my life. So thank you guys for...
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Garrett. Yeah. Thank you, Garrett. Thank you guys for being here each and every week as we bring you Super Gamer Boys. We got a lot of people to thank, including some of our Patreon sponsors. Yeah, so again, thank you guys so much for listening. We're going to wrap it up here now. Remember, you can go over and support us, patreon.com/supergamerboys over there. Huge shout out to you guys. We're thankful for you Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome.
check us out, supergamerboys.com/store. You can buy some sweet stuff like our mug here, some t-shirts, some stickers. You can rate and review us. Go over to Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts from, and you can leave a 5-star review. That'd be awesome. Check us out, supergamerboys.com, at supergamerboys on Twitter and Instagram, facebook.com/supergamerboys. I'm on Twitter at @gmorlang.
I'm on Twitter at JJPurdom, and I actually tweeted earlier today.
Oh, dang. I'll have to check that out. Didn't see that. Yep. Thank you so much to Star Andrews for our logo. You can check her out on Instagram at Ground Floor Graphics and facebook.com/Ground Floor Graphics. All right.
You ready to go? We did this late. It's been a long day. We both said some really emotional things. We're going to deny later. We're going to pretend like that stuff didn't happen.
Or not remember. It's like so tired. Like, man, we'll listen to it later and be like, man, we really rambled and that doesn't make any sense. But in our heads, it made sense. And it's only because it's 10:30 at night. That's
exactly.
why. That's why it was incoherent ramblings to you guys.
I am desperate to get in there. I have got to go check out some of Garrett's radioactive pee. So we are the Super Gamer Boys. He's Garrett. I'm JJ.
We'll catch you. Flippity flop.